Hello there guys, and welcome back to our car modeling tutorial here, our Audi R8. In the last episode what we did was we worked down the door here, created all of that intake and stuff, so that's all looking really nice. I think the last thing we're going to do for the main base mesh here is we are going to add in the roof over the top. So again, as usual, we've got some trusty reference images inside here. So we're going to have a go at creating the roof. So let's think about how we want to do this. We do know for this part here that it's going to be nice and easy because it just needs to kind of hover on top of our existing model. We do know that we need a little bit of geometry to go down here. Currently we only have one line, so what we might do is let's maybe think about our A pillar first. Let's make a little bit of space there. And then let's think about our side view here, our top view. Let's maybe bring that up just a little bit more. So we can go Mesh Tools, Insert Edge Loop, we'll drop another one inside here. Okay, so we've got a lot of detail in that corner. That's nice because we'll be able to bring that all the way around. So let's maybe then think about pulling these edges. So let's grab each of these here. So grab each of those. Let's hit Control E. And let's just pull this maybe about halfway. And then we'll probably have a go straighten it off a little bit. Okay, so that's looking quite good on there. Let's grab our vertices here. And let's just pull this over so it's sitting nicely on here. Let's just grab these ones too. Looking quite nice for the most part. Let's maybe just pull this up a little bit, and then these last two here we'll pull up just a little bit more. So looking quite good. Let's insert an edge loop or two in here. So let's maybe go 1, and then we can move that up. And then I'm just going to hit G. We'll just add a second one in here as well, just to move that up too. Okay, and then let's just use these in here. Okay, so we can see that starting to get a nice shape to that. Let's now grab these edges again. Let's hit Control E on these, and on the world, let's pull these all the way back, and let's maybe go to about here. Yeah, just about here, because it's this point here where we're going to start to just before that curve. So it's here, this is where we're going to really start to do a little bit of work. Let's just pull this down a bit here. Okay, so let's just grab these edges. I'm going to hit Control E. And let's bring them down, maybe about halfway on this window. We want this one to remain up here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fan all these ones out a little bit. Something like that. We'll start to fan them out again as we go around here. That one looks like it should stay roughly where it is, but let's start to fan these out. Okay. And then let's go all the way now. I'm going to bring these down, and these are going to go all the way down to this portion of the window. This will maybe go down to this one, this one over here, and then this one down here. So that's ultimately the kind of idea that we want to work with this. Now it's going to get a little bit confusing because this is the same, so what we might actually do at this point is let's grab all of these new portions. I'm going to hold down Control and Shift at the same time to select everything else. And let's go for Edit Mesh and Extract, so we'll take those away. Okay, let's take these and we'll go Top View. That's much easier to see. And then I'm just going to overlap ever so slightly on that edge that we currently have. Take all this around there. We'll leave that one just as is just now. Okay, and let's go for a insert edge loop again. Let's drop one about here. This will allow us just to again just work that a little bit more. Just work that shape. Okay, and we know we want this one to go up here because it's going to line up there, and then we'll bring these up just to help that out a bit so we can start to see how that roof is now moving around that portion. Let's go for another one, so we'll go insert edge loop again. Let's drop one down about here. I'm going to help make that curvature around the window. Okay, so we can see that we're starting to get a nice shape around there. Let's drop another one here. Actually, let's not just yet. Let's take the rest of the roof now. So I'll grab these three. Take that over here. And with our vertices, let's bring these back. And then we know that this one here, we can simply weld that one to it because that's in the right spot. So that's looking quite good. We can see here I've got a little bit of an issue, but once that's smooth, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. Once our geometry is laid here, we can put a bit more into this. Let's just leave that as is for now, because it does look like there is quite a significant gap. When we actually start to smooth this and add more geometry, we'll be able to make some changes there. This isn't looking very smooth here. Okay, let's go for edge loops then. So let's maybe drop one just here for now. Bring that there. And then we should be able to merge those together. Okay, so let's just make sure this is sitting how it should. We really want that to be doing something more like that. We want these to be flowing nicely around that bend. And then let's go for one more and we'll drop that over here. It's got a lot of geometry on that window, which is fine. So just something like that. Now, apologies for the squeaky chair again. What we're going to want to do then in here is it does look like this, we want to take all of this down. Let's flatten that off a little bit. So we want to take all of this down. Something like that. All of these pieces we're going to want to bring down as well. Again, this will be refined when we start to refine this kind of top portion here, but let's bring all that down just to run through there. Okay, let's just check that rear view. this way a little bit. Looks like we have a problem up here. It's had a little bit of waviness. It looks like maybe this whole bit here, including this one. Looks like we do want to raise that up. Looks like good. Looks good. In here, and this one specifically, let's just deselect those. So we have a rear window. So I'm just going to hit Control E. We'll take that in. Maybe something like that. See if we can see this on our rear view. Oh, we can, so that's good. We'll do something like that. Let's grab our vertices here and we'll start to mold this a little bit better. Okay, and what I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to grab all of these portions, because it does look like the glass kind of goes all the way down to the body. So let's just delete all of those. That will allow us to now select these here and bring them in. And I'm just going to hold down X to kind of snap that into the center. So it looks like that bit there should be looking quite nice. Maybe what we'll do with this is we'll just extrude that in ever so slightly. And then just delete those extras. Okay, so that's looking quite nice. Let's go again. Let's drop our material on it. I'll maybe just delete everything here. I'm just going to hit Control D, Control G, and then -1. Just take it across. Okay, so we can see now for the most part, that's all looking really quite nice in terms of the general composition for the model, the general base mesh, which is good. So we've got a little bit of time left in this episode. I'm just having a look around the references here just to see what it is we could probably have a think about. What we could do is we could maybe have a go at bringing in the windows. We could bring those in first. So yeah, let's maybe do that. So we've got a little bit of trim that's going to go around the roof, and then obviously around here too. Doesn't look like we've got too much in the way of trim across the top of the door, which is fairly uncommon. It could be a case that the trim is actually inside. It looks like the window kind of depresses down inside of the door instead. And then we've got a whole trim that goes around the portion of the window here, and then a little bit of trim at the front. And then we've got kind of a step down in the windscreen as well, so we can maybe think about that. So let's have a go then with the trim around the window. So let's grab all of this, hit Control E. I'm going to do this on the world and then just scale this in, something like that. Okay. So we can see that we have, looks like interior trim here. So this secondary level here isn't actually trim within the window area here that we're working with. So let's grab these and move them into position. What we can maybe do is let's maybe go for one more edge loop in here. because that'll help us take that turn a little smoother. Okay, let's just check that in our main view. Okay, and then let's drop that into position in the top. Okay, so this is where we start to get a bit more definition. Okay, and then it looks like on my references that it actually gets a little bit less as we move down here. So something like that, and then let's grab these, let's go in the way with them, and we get less as we get towards the bottom. Okay, and then we'll get less as we get to the top as well. Okay, it's looking okay. Let's maybe just bring this one to a weird angle, so let's bring that down a little bit more. Okay, so we basically have it so that as it's coming up, it gets severe towards that corner, and then it breaks off, and it goes a lot straighter as we get to the top. Something like that. I think this is a bit too much under here. Okay, so that's looking okay. We'll want to run this down the window here. So let's maybe grab this. I'm going to hit Control E. Let's run this down here. And let's have a snap. Holding V on the keyboard, like so. And we'll just insert 2 edge loops. Oh, 3, because we've got another one here. And again, holding down V on the keyboard, let's snap onto this A pillar. And then we'll snap just to come off that a little bit there. Something like that, so a little bit of trim that runs along. There is, maybe it's not, maybe we want to put a little bit more then. Not all the way down there. Okay. And let's grab all of this. And I'll say mesh and then extract. So let's take that away. Okay, so with this, I'm going to grab it, modify, I'm going to center the pivot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move it in ever so slightly. Okay. I'm going to grab all the edges to this roof, because we want a couple of steps inside here. I'm going to hold Control E to extrude this. I'm just going to pull that in past that level of trim. We want a couple of levels of contrast, a little bit of a ridge within a ridge and so on. And then with this trim here, I'm going to double click to go all the way around, hit Control E, and again, I'm going to pull in on this, because obviously that's where the glass is going to sit for that. Let's maybe take this door here we'll just pull that in so that's level. Okay, so we've got that extra little bit of trim inside there, so the glass will obviously sit as part of that as well. We've got the windscreen to think about, so the windscreen has also got a piece of rubber trim, but the windscreen looks kind of double stepped. So let's see, we can see that we've got this extra portion here. So let's take all of these. And I'm going to hit Control E for extrude, and I'm going to pull on the green. And we'll see. That looks quite nice. It looks like it's continued to pull that on the same kind of axis that we would want it to. So it looks like this is an actual line in the body. I assume it's part of the trim, which is painted so they can take off the windscreen if there was to pop it out. It looks like what we want to do with this as well is, I'm going to do mesh and separate on these because I want to separate the window from the rest of the vehicle, the A-frame from the rest of the vehicle. It looks like this. We want the A-frame to actually tuck down beyond the body. Let's see if we can use our transform on here. That's not going to let us do it. So let's maybe go hold down V to snap that, and let's bring that in. Okay. So let's, on our side view, it looks like we want to bring this back a little bit. We can see that it's nowhere near as thick, just there. So we'll do that, something like that. Let's see how it looks over here. It's not looking too bad. Let's maybe go a little bit more. Maybe take this a little bit closer. Okay. And then we want to take this in again because we've got another step of rubber trim. Let's just make sure we're looking okay in this corner. Double check with this edge. Okay, so it looks like we're not quite in line here. Maybe we forgot to do that once we brought in the extra geometry. Okay, so that's looking nice. So we want to take this again, so we're going to grab these edges, we're going to hit Control E. And I think this time what we want to do is we want to take it on the blue. So take it on the blue arrow inside there, and then this is kind of like a little rubber strip. Now this rubber strip has nothing to do with this extra line that goes down here. That looks like it's part of like the actual windscreen inside there. So we want this rubber strip, but we don't want it to go too far out, but maybe what we'll do is we'll maybe bring it a little bit. Something like that. Okay. So it looks like then we'll be able to cut that out when we need to, and then we've got that little rubber strip that comes down, and that's kind of what connects onto the windscreen. Okay, so that's looking okay. And when we get to that, we've got a little extra detail that we would need to add to that as well. Okay, and then on the rear here, we've already kind of got that in place. I'm just having a look. It doesn't look like there's any kind of real trim, obviously, because the glass is part of the roof, the material roof, as we go through there. It does look though, however, like our roof needs to have a bit of extra detail along the lines that run through. So let's grab, let's maybe grab all of these. And I'm going to hit Control E, and I'm going to pull this up vertically. So I'm going to hit on the world option there, pull this up vertically, only ever so slightly, just something like that. And then we're going to grab our target weld tool, and we'll maybe re-weld the first one. But we're going to run down this whole edge here, and we're going to re-weld these, because we do have a little bit of a lip that goes up there. So let's just re-weld all of these ones down, because there's a little bit of definition at that top point. And I think what we'll do as well is let's just bring that one back down as well. Just got a little bit of a lip, a little bit of a ridge up there, which is good. And that's looking fine. Okay. At the front, we do have an extrusion in here that we need to make. So let's go back to the front. Let's go in here. Let's take that and tuck that underneath the bonnet there. We want to grab all of these edges here. I'm going to hit Control E and bring those in. We're going a little bit, something like that, just to add a bit more shape to that front end, which looks good. I'm thinking about the honeycomb grills, so we'll probably do the grills for this at the end as well, after everything else. We do have this extra edge that we need to bring out here, so let's do that too whilst we're here. I'm going to grab all of these. I'm going to hit Control E, and I'm going to take it on the blue ever so slightly, only ever so slightly, because I don't want this to run too nuts underneath the vehicle. I just want to kind of bring this edge up. So let's go and let's target weld that vertex, if we can see it, that front bit. Bring that along a little bit there, because we know that this is an actual defined portion. The headlight kind of sits just to the side of that, so it looks okay. I did say in the last episode about how we need to add something to this, so let's actually do that as well. And to the front splitter here. So I'm going to bring all these back to about there. And then we can see it on the front blueprints. It looks like it's this bit here. So let's grab all these edges. Maybe just grab that one as, no, let's not, let's go for these. And then we just want to pull that down. Something like that. I don't know if we can see it on the side here. Can't see it on the side, so maybe it's actually much further under. just looking at my reference images here, and it does look like it is close to the lip. So let's just go for it. I'm gonna hit Control E. I'm not gonna go down as far. It does look like it's just a little bit, just like that. And then for those faces here, let's grab these and we'll go mesh display and hit reverse on those. Alright then guys, so that's that looking quite nice. We've got the roof on there looking good. We've got a little bit of trim in the side there as well. I think what we'll probably do, I'm not really too sure what we'll do in the next episode. Maybe what we'll start to think about is the actual smoothing of the body panels. We do have a spoiler that we could add to the back. Some of the models that I've seen online have a nice carbon lip, which come off of these faces here, just above the rear light. So we could maybe think about doing that. But until then, guys, what we'll do is we'll call it there. So if you liked the video, make sure you hit that thumbs up. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to keep up to date with all the builds. And I will see you guys in the next one.